Grand Rising, sir.
Grand Rising, sir.
How you doing? Could you please state your name and occupation for those that don't know you?
My name is Dr. Timothy Howell. I'm a principal at middle school here in the Palmdale Sage Magnet Academy.
So I have a few questions for you about your experience with the character math program. You started a pilot program involving EQ and character math. How's that experience? How's that working for you?
Well, it's actually working great. I needed a tutor for my co-pilot program. Co-pilot is a bunch of students that are on my campus that needed more support. We weren't meeting their needs. They were tardy to class. They didn't want to learn. They're fighting, disruptive. So I gathered all those students together and created the co-pilot program. And the name is like synonymous with like a co-pilot in the airplane, since we are the aerospace school. We're aeronautics and space industry out here in Antelope Valley. So we named it co-pilot because we're trying to get them to become pilots of their lives, of themselves. And for when you're a co-pilot, I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to just sit there. You don't have to do absolutely nothing. But when you're ready for that intense training that we give them, then they become pilots and then they can soar and be successful. So we needed a tutor in the co-pilot classroom, and that's where I reached out to EQ Athletics and was able to come in touch, get in touch with Mr. Dorsey with Character Math.
Yes, sir. The experience with character math, dealing with mathematics. What could you say about your students in that classroom?
So with Character Math, since we are aeronautics and space school pathway, we need kids to be strong in math, and I needed somebody to be passionate about math. I didn't know what I was going to get, but when Mr. Dorsey came in with the character math and the passion that he had for it, especially with these students in great need. See, you can't come in here BSing these kids with some foolishness because they're not going to buy it. They're not going to take it. But when he introduced character math, I mean, the kids were, they just gravitated to it. They understood. I don't really fully understand it myself because I wasn't there for that. I'm here to bring structure and order, making sure the kids have what they need. So the kids actually was explaining character math to me because I needed to make sure, is this really working? Do you guys really understand this? And the kids were actually, they responded well to it.
Did you see any particular progress, any growth with the students that participated in that program?
Yeah, we have the data to show it. When we gave them the first assessment, it was multiplication, long division, and double digit multiplication. And on the first attempt, the kids, they could not do it. Some kids would not do it. They wasn't interested. So like the highest score on the first test, maybe what, 30%, maybe 40%. The scores were really, really low. So I said, so this is what we have.
Yes, sir.
After 11 or 12 days, we had the highest score was 100%. I don't know what the lowest score is, but there was growth of at least 50% with every student.
Yes, sir.
And these are the students that will not perform, or they choose not to. Or their deficit is so far in the red that they don't want to show you how bad they are. And I always talk about one of the students in that class, and she hated math. She wouldn't try. She didn't care. She'll go to sleep. She'll go sit outside on her number. She's not fooling with math. This student is attempting math. She's not an expert yet, but she will now try. She's not afraid of it. She will look for the character math, guide and say, and at least try. That's what you need. That's what
Yes,
you want
sir.
right there.
Was there anything that you picked up? Because I know you said you didn't understand the program yourself. Was there anything that you did or may have learned in that process of the program?
So for me, it's basically skip counting that, and looking for the patterns. For me, it was difficult because since I already know my multiplication, and the kids were like, Dr. Howell, I just go ahead and give them the answer because I already, I memorized my multiplication facts. So I haven't really taken the time to worry about how the pattern works, but I will be learning it. I know that it will help in some way as we get older. It's kind of difficult for me, and I think like kids that know their multiplication facts already, um, they might not feel like they need it or want to do it. But I think it's important because when you memorize your multiplication facts, you memorize like what 144 numbers all over the place. With character math, it's just a few number one through. If you can count from 1 through 10, basically, you basically got it. So it's just rethinking. You gotta. It's a way of rethinking. Like I don't remember my phone number, my girlfriend's phone number. I don't remember nobody, only my mom's because yeah, I memorized it when I was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't memorize phone numbers. Why? Because I got one of these.
Right.
So why would I need to memorize all of these numbers for what?
Mm-hmm.
So this character math now, even if they need to make it as a cheat sheet, they can create it themselves.
Yes, sir. So your thoughts on the practices of the tutor, on the presentation of the program in general? What do you feel about his
So
practices?
the character math tutor has confidence in his program, and that's what you need. So when he first came in, when I spoke with him on the phone, I was like, okay, this guy is passionate. Okay, we'll see when he comes in. And I prepped him about the group of students that he was going to be dealing with because these were the kids that needed the most support. And when he came in, he got their attention. They were checking him out. He was checking them out, and basically he just hit the ground running. And the accent that he had, the students were just like, they was into it. And then as we began, once the kids know that you know what you're talking about and they believe, they will surrender to you and allow you to lead them. But if you don't know what you're talking about and your stuff is not working, you're not leading these kids because these kids are their culture, they're street smart. They all have it. All of them have it. So you better bring it if you're gonna deal with my students.
Your comparison to character math, because I know that as a principal, you deal with a lot of math programs, and there's a lot of things that's been brought to your table. How would you compare character math to a lot of other potential math programs in general?
Yeah, I think character math is a foundational program. Like if you don't know you're not strong in multiplication and division, character math will get you set off because other programs that I use are great because they kind of expose the kids to some of the state assessments. On the state assessment, they're not going to do basic individual math, multiplication and division.
Hi.
When you're doing more advanced equations and linear equations and more advanced math, there will come a part in the math problem where you will have to now multiply those numbers or divide and use that character math so you can go back. And a lot of students get problems wrong because they may make a mistake with their multiplication facts because it's just so much numbers and things, and we live in a different generation and time now where we don't have to do that anymore. So why call all of that, worrying about mastering your multiplication facts, and then you forget, and that throws your whole problem off, and you may know how to do the problem, but so the character math will make sure like it's like you will never get it wrong. Like,
keep you on track.
Yeah, you know how to use it. Yeah.
How do you feel about your teachers teaching this program?
Well, when we introduce it to the teachers, we let them see the success of what is going on in the co-pilot classroom. And so if they want it, I'm preparing to, let them get the training because they have to see the value. They have to see the value. And the value speaks for itself with those students. The co-pilot classroom has changed the whole atmosphere, the whole culture of this school.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Would you recommend the character math program to other schools?
Most definitely.
Any final words about your experience, anything that you would like to share to wrap this up?
Well, I just hope that,
more people and students are open to this idea, because it is a different way of looking at numbers and the patterns. It's a different way. You have to have the mindset. But here's the thing, these kids understand, and they accept it because it's easier to them. Some teachers in the test, because when we're taking a state test, you can't have any cheat sheets on the board or whatever. However, the student, once the test up, they can make their own cheat sheets, right? So kids that may not have mastered the multiplication chart, they'll sit down, okay, let me write and do a multiplication chart. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2 times 2 is 4, 6, 8, and try to, and spend what, 30 minutes on that creating a multiplication chart, just in case if they need it. But there's the math. When it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, boom, 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 put the number there, you ready to go.
So, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.